Okay, hi. Oh god, I forgot to unmute my mic again. This happens way too often. I don't know why I feel strangely nervous, even though this isn't my first stream. It's been like 3 days at most, but I feel weird. Okay. And because of that, I forgot to unmute my mic, so I've been talking for 2 minutes now, just to myself, which is always great. Anyways, we are back again with a live review. There's this strange thing happening on my Twitch where every time I check my board, like check my the dashboard and everything, my streams have like 40 views at this point, and I'm like, who is watching? What is happening here? For today's stream, people are gonna be a bit surprised because this is definitely not what I usually do. So at first, when I started the reviews, I thought I'd just stick to shows and movies. But today we are doing Love is an Illusion, which is actually a manhwa or a webcomic, as most people would know it. And it's BL. BL is boys love, by the way. So we're going in some uncharted territory over here, and I'm going to be talking about some things which are a bit unsafe. So this is definitely not for kids. No, I am not reviewing the NSFW part of it. I have no interest in doing that. I don't kink shame, it's fine. But yeah. So, but before I start, I think it's appropriate that I say this right at the beginning. While I review this, I am only looking at stories and character growth. And I did this with the previous shows and the movie as well. So I'm going to do that here as well, but that doesn't mean I hate Love is an Illusion. It does not mean that I hate the author. There is just literally no hate intended here. So please, for the love of God, don't take this as an invitation to go and start harassing people. I am begging over here. I don't like harassment of any kind, bullying, harassment, all of that nonsense. I'm not interested in it. I don't want to take part in it, and I don't want to be the reason for someone getting any kind of hate. Hold on, wait 1 second. What the hell? Okay. I have a lot of stream issues. I do this on my, like, I've been doing this on my laptop for some time now, and my laptop, it can't handle this. I open one program and my laptop just, like, it's ready to die. Streaming is a whole other thing because I have multiple stuff open when I'm streaming. Anyways, let us just shift to this screen. Where'd it go? Oh, there she is. Hi, Sue. Hi. It's been a while. Okay, hold on. Okay, music is on. Yep. Okay, so we are ready for Love is an Illusion. So, Love is an Illusion is a BL manhwa. As I said, BL is for boys love, and it's actually been a while since it came out. It came out when, you know, that comic site Lezhin, I don't know how it's pronounced, but I'm just taking a guess here. So yeah, when it came out, and you know, it just blew into popularity. So same thing happened with Love is an Illusion. Till date is, I think, one of Lezhin's most popular works, especially in the BL category. So what is this about? As you can see, those two guys on the screen, it's their story. And if I have to sum up my feelings for Love is an Illusion, like, in a very short way, I would say that the title is very appropriate because love is truly an illusion in this manhwa. I can't believe it. When the characters are like, oh, I'm in love with you, I'm like, bitch, you don't even know each other. What the fuck is going on here? But I guess that's just how it is nowadays. You meet someone, take a look at them, you realize, oh, this is probably the hottest person I'll ever meet, and then you go, yeah, I'm in love with you. I don't know, man. Kids nowadays. Okay, so here comes the hard part. Before I actually get into explaining what the story of Love is an Illusion is, I have to explain something which I think most of you would have heard of, but I think I need to explain it anyways because it's different for every BL. And if you haven't guessed what the hell I'm talking about, yeah, oh my god. I'm talking about the Omegaverse. Yeah, this is an Omegaverse story, and I have a very love-hate relationship with that genre. Okay, love might be too strong of a word. I would say like-hate relationship. I don't really like. I'm not the biggest fan of it because of all the shit that happens in it, but I'm not one of those people who's like, oh, I hate it. It's the worst thing ever either because like, it is what it is. My God, it's a writing trope, I guess. Whatever. But yeah, I'll have to explain that, and that's why I said the stream is not say so in any way. Okay, let's get into it. So, the Omegaverse. The Omegaverse is a trope wherein you are in a universe where people have a secondary gender. Hi, Juan! Thank you for the follow. Yes, so the Omegaverse. Oh god, I keep doing that. Yeah, the Omegaverse is my fave clown. I can't believe I'm not following. I am very happy to know I'm your favorite clown. That actually makes me very, very happy. Right, okay. I think I've said this 3 times now. So this is a universe where people have a secondary gender and they're divided into alpha, beta, and omega, which you can't see because of my stupid face. Hold on. There we go. Okay. Yeah. So you have the alpha, beta, and omega. Now, what's the difference here? This is gonna be fun. So an alpha is basically the dominating species in a way, but okay, let me explain. Being an alpha in the Omegaverse is just like, being a superhero, but your superpower is that you can study better than other people slightly. That's your superpower. And sometimes if you're the male lead and the side lead who forms a love triangle, you get to have very good genes and you get to be very tall. But if you are not the main lead, you suffer from faceless character syndrome, ugly bastard syndrome, and generic faced side character syndrome. So yeah, that's alphas in the Omegaverse. Now what's a beta? So in terms of the Omegaverse, a beta is someone is just like a side character that nobody cares about, which would be true. So imagine this. It's the Omegaverse and you're at a cafe, right? You're at a cafe and the alpha barista sees the omega customer. They look at each other, they realize they're meant to be, and they start going at it. The beta would be the other guy who was second in line, who's holding a Starbucks card and thinking, fuck, I just wanted a mocha frappuccino. What the hell? That's the beta. So the thing about the Omegaverse is like alphas and omegas apparently have this thing called a pheromone, like a distinct scent that only they can smell. Betas can't do that. So they're just like normal people living a very normal life and just looking at the others around them and going like, why is this me? Yes, exactly. Beta, not this shit again. But in the Omegaverse, being a beta is not a good thing. Often, you'll see characters looking down on them and going like, oh my god, you're just a beta. And I'm like, that's a good thing. Because the best part about being a beta is you get to be horny by choice. It's not because you're forced. And now you must be wondering, what the fuck? Yeah, I'm gonna get to that. Now an omega. Now this is the fun part. An omega is basically Horny rights, basically, yeah. So an Omega is the in most Omegaverse stories, and Omega is like the lowest in the chain, and they are supposed to be they're usually very meek, fragile, weak, but very beautiful. And the thing about them is that Omegas, with even the male ones, can have children. That's the Omega. It's just basically being have and so the horny thing comes into play because so both alphas and omegas have this very horny period in their life, which lasts from 3 days to a week, which is known as, for omega it's known as a heat period, and for alpha it's known as a rut period. It's like basically the person who created the Omegaverse was like, how can I justify being horny all the time and have people not judge me for it. They're like, I didn't want to be horny, Ubu. It was my body. It's against my will. And I'm like, bitch, if I smack you the fuck up with a holy Bible, will you get control then? It's weird. And here's another thing about omegas and alphas when they're in this horny period, is that they have no choice. They have no control over their bodies. They're so horny that they either have to get fucked or they'll be in pain all the time. Fucking is their painkiller. It's like someone took the concept of periods and decided, okay, I'm going to remove the blood part of it. I'm just going to make it very, very horny. And if you don't fuck, you're going to be in so much pain. Fucking is your painkiller. And to that person, I just have one thing to say. I'll kill you. It's like the worst decision ever. But yeah, alphas and omegas. It's basically, when they're in this state, they will mount anybody. It's horrible. I don't know why this is a thing. But as I said, I don't kink shame over here. So if this is your thing, I don't know, man. Go for it, I guess. Anyways, that's the Omegaverse. And that's the universe our story is set in. So each Omegaverse story has its own rules. You can add things, remove things, that sort of a thing. In this one, you have this thing known as dominant and recessive alphas and omegas. Dominant alphas are obviously on top. Very strong pheromones, can beat the shit out of anyone and survive. Very rich people. Omegas, even weaker. But here, the difference is that when a dominant omega is actually stronger than other people. Like, their pheromones can basically bring you down to your knees and even knock you out. Like, they smell so bad. Sorry. They smell so bad they'll knock you off your feet. Yes, okay, I'm just gonna stick to this expression for the rest of the stream and you will see why. So now that I've explained the rules of the Omegaverse, let's get into the story. So, Love is an Illusion is the story of these two characters, Park Dojin and Kim Hye-sung. I'm not very sure if I'm pronouncing both the names properly because, again, Korean is not my first language. I haven't learned it, so I'm going to try my best to be accurate, but if I make a mistake, I'm very sorry about that. So yes, it's the story of these two characters. And when I see them together, I agree love is totally an illusion because there is nothing about the two of them that makes me believe they're in love. So, when they first meet, it's at a party. Dojin is a musician and he is the son of a very rich family. So, and at that party, Hyesung is a waiter. So Hyesung is very short, very pretty, but he thinks he's an alpha. By the way, another thing about the Omegaverse that I completely forgot to mention is that they have these gender tests which determine whether you're an alpha, beta, or omega. So he thinks he's an alpha because in his test, he came up as an alpha. But he's around, I think, 18 or 19 at the party and he suddenly goes into heat. Remember that horny period I was talking about? Yeah, that. And Dojin finds him. Dojin takes him back to his place and tries to help him. but they end up doing things. Yeah, they end up doing things, and after that, Dojin just gets hit with this rush of inspiration, and he just, comes up with a new song on the spot. So it's like the more he sleeps with Heesung, the more songs he can write. I know. And the thing about this plot point is that it's lost within like a few chapters. So Heesung, it's only at this point where Hyesung realizes he's an Omega, and he has serious issues with that because he always thought he was an alpha. And the thing is, he's a dumb bitch. This man is a groupie hotel. Oh my god. Okay, yeah, the thing about Hyesung is that he is such a dumb bitch. Like the kind of dumb bitch you only see in fiction, that there are multiple occasions where he gets scammed. Like he finds a place which promises him that, yeah, we can turn you from an Omega to an Alpha. Does he do his research? No. He goes there, takes money from them when they tell them that, we can get you a job, and almost gets sold into slavery. Isn't that amazing? He is that dumb, and he does no research. Then later, and obviously Dojin comes and kind of saves him and has to pay off his debt, because he's a rich boy, so he can do it. But then he's like, okay, I need to find a job to pay this guy back. Instead of getting a legit job, he searches online best ways to get rich, and almost gets scammed again. And I am like, sir, you cannot be this dumb. So basically, there's this whole part where Dojin is very obsessed with Heesung, wants to keep him with him, doesn't want to let him go, gets very obsessive, and because he has this whole thing, right, that whenever they sleep together, he gets inspiration from more songs, and the songs he writes are amazing, to the point that a scout comes to them and goes like, hey, I like your music, I would like to go in business with you. But the issue is that every time they sleep together, and this might be triggering for some people, but every time they have any kind of experiences, it's always kind of non-consensual. Like Hyesung kind of just gets forced into it because of pheromones, and it's horrible. And long story short, Hyesung ends up getting pregnant. And because he ends up getting pregnant, he wants to get rid of the baby because he doesn't want to have a kid. He doesn't agree with the fact that he's an Omega. But Dojin, not a consent king. Yep. So Dojin kind of convinces him to have the baby, and Hyesung only agrees when he's told that he would get paid. Like, if he has the baby, he gets 50 million won. I don't know how much that is in US dollars. I didn't Google it. I didn't think that was as relevant, but I'm guessing it's a lot of money because there's million involved. So, yeah. And yeah, so the whole time so it's not even about consent in these things. So because the Omegaverse is built in such a strange way, it's like, and this is not me defending anyone, by the way, because I don't like things like these. So the thing is, it's like the first encounter they have, Hyesung is the one who kind of pushes himself onto Dojin because he's completely drunk on, like, he's in heat. So like I said, when these characters are in heat or in a rut, they're completely out of their minds and they just have to fuck. That's the only thing on their minds. It's like they're animals. And it's built in such a weird way because you know that what's happening that isn't consensual, and you're just like, ugh, I don't like that. That's not cool. Like, whatever defense you may give for it, it's just So yeah, he ends up getting pregnant, and then he kind of just drives Dojin around. So basically, in the end, he has the baby, runs away, comes back, and he comes back because he finds out that, so in this Omegaverse story there's a thing called bonding. It happens accidentally, and if you bond with another alpha, you are stuck with them for life. Like, if an alpha and omega bond, they can't leave each other, they can't ever be with anyone else, and if they leave each other, they will eventually die without one another. So if they want to survive, they gotta fuck. There's a lot of fucking involved. I don't know why. Please. Can't you be horny like normal people? But yeah, they'll die. So he comes back and they end up together, and they date for 6 months, and then they get married, and then I'm supposed to believe that they are in love with each other because reasons. They don't know anything about each other. I don't think they've ever had a proper conversation, but they're in love with each other. Thus why I say that in this story, love truly is an illusion. Now, as most BLs would have it, there are two side characters. I'm gonna get into that now. So Yoon Heesoo and Park Dojun. So Heesoo is Dojin's friend, kind of like his follower. He's basically followed Dojin around his whole life because Heesoo's father works for Dojin's family, and he refers to Dojin as master. Park Dojun is Dojin's older brother. These two are actually in love, and it shows. And like, their story is pretty simple. Wait, what? No, so what happened? Yeah, their story is like really simple. They meet, there's a misunderstanding, they get together after that, they continue to date. The annoying part comes from the fact that Dojun was married at one point. He got divorced, obviously, and then later got together with Heesoo. But the person he was married to was psychotic. They call it pathological jealousy in the BL, but so basically what this person did was he got very, very obsessive over Dojun, and if he found any Omega near Dojun, he would go out of his way to threaten those people. He almost was the reason for one of them breaking their legs. And when it comes to Heesoo, he gets so angry that he has Heesoo kidnapped, and then he offers the kidnappers money to, and this is the worst thing ever, he offers the kidnappers money to assault Heesoo. Thankfully nothing happens because Heesoo beats the shit out of everyone. But yeah, that was so unnecessary. And yeah, after that, him and Dojin kind of just have a very normal love story. I think they eventually get married or something, I'm not very sure. Yeah, I know. And now the worst part comes here. The worst part is this. You see that character named Lee Chowon? That is Dojun's ex-husband. That's the guy who did all of these things, and that's the guy who ended up getting a redemption arc. And when I say redemption, it's not a very good arc, but yeah, he ends up getting a kind of a redemption arc. So Yu Kyungso is Hye-sung's friend. So when the story initially begins, Kyungso suffers from secondary character syndrome. He's faceless most of the times, and he kind of gets written out of the story at, like, I think very early on, when after he comes back once in a while, but he doesn't get any personality or even a decent face, like an actual face, until later. So yeah, he meets Chowon at a bar, they sleep together, and he doesn't know anything about Chowon at that point. And Chowon is such a little shit, okay? I don't like him at all. The only reason why he's not in jail is because they said that he would have to go to therapy, otherwise they're gonna press charges. So he goes to therapy, but he doesn't take his medication, he doesn't listen to his doctor, he is still very much obsessed with Dojun. But when he meets Kyungso, his obsession shifts from Dojun to Kyungso. And when Kyungso finds out about everything Chowon is done through Heesung, and he confronts him about it, Chowon is just like, oh no, they deserved it. I didn't even do anything that bad, and he's gonna come back to me and everything. And I'm like, oh my god, this is a person who doesn't regret what they've done at all. And then later, when Kyungso leaves him, it's only then when he starts going around and actually apologizing to people and trying to change. And even then, he doesn't actually change. And that's the thing I don't like about their arc, because the only reason why Chowon shows any kind of regret is because he doesn't want Kyungso to break up with him. It's not because he actually feels bad. Ay. And I think the worst part about this storyline is that a lot of Chowon's actions are just like they try to justify Chowon's actions by saying, oh, he's not mentally well, that's why he gets a pass for doing the things that he's done. Which I don't like that, because that's such a horrible portrayal of mental illness. And like, just, I know a lot of people who have different disorders, who go through a lot of struggles with their mental health, but I've never seen them lash out at others in this way. And the thing is, if you know you have an issue, and if you're not genuinely trying, and you have the funds to get help, you are getting help, but you're not actually taking any of that seriously, then I don't think like, especially when it comes to fictional characters, I don't think the redemption arc works over there. Serious talk is now over. It's weird. Let's talk about characters. Park Dojin. He doesn't deserve rights, as I've said before. He just does not. And another thing about him is that when he starts off in the story, like right at the beginning, he's such a strong character. He does not like Omegas. He's very determined that he'd never date an Omega. He only dates other alphas and betas. That's it. He's very determined. But I think after his second meeting with Hye-sung, he just becomes a doormat. He stops having a personality. He just does whatever Hye-sung wants. And he's just, I mean, he doesn't, there's no point of having him in the story. Like, yeah, there are moments where he gets jealous, but other than that, he doesn't have much of a personality. But it's kind of, he kind of just becomes Hye-sung's slave. Especially during the pregnancy period, whatever Heesung says, he just does it without question. And even after that, he actually tries to break all ties with his family because he thinks that they hate Heesung. So he's like, okay, I will never see my family again, and blocks all of them. And I'm like, bro, have you considered just, I don't know, talking things out? He's just, I think his character development was like the most disappointing thing ever. It's like, you know, it's like when you use your door, right? And there's a doorknob. So that doorknob is Dojun. And most of the time it'll work properly. But occasionally it'll just give you problems. And why is it giving you problems? Because the doorknob thinks you don't like him anymore, so it just won't work. It won't let you out. And you're just like, my god, why can't you just talk to me about this? Please let me out. Please, I'm begging you. So yeah, it's weird. I don't know why they went in this direction for him. I think the story, in my personal opinion, would have been better if he held on to that strong personality, and instead of introducing the pregnancy so early in the story, it would be him and Hye-sung going head to head. And I think that would be more interesting. Okay, let's talk about Hye-sung. Okay, this guy has issues. Like, he has a lot of trauma from his childhood, which most people try to use for his terrible personality. I'm sorry, he just doesn't have a likable personality in my opinion. He is stupid as fuck. And stupid in the sense that, you know, if I had a conversation with him, I would smack him and be like, please, God has given you brain cells. Even if there are 2 of them, use it. I beg of you. And he's annoying. He's supposed to be a tsundere, but he's the kind of tsundere where you can't even go like, oh my god, so cute. You're just like, please, just stop talking, for the love of God. Please, I'm begging you. And much like Dojun, he doesn't like talking about things. He just won't talk about things. So, like I said, he has a lot of issues and kind of like a traumatic past because his father was an alpha who only married his mother because she got pregnant. And he used to hit his mom and everything, and he was just like a terrible person. And then his mom left. So when he was, I think, in high school, he ran away. He dropped out of school and ran away from home. That's why he has such strong feelings about never being an Omega. He doesn't want to be an Omega. And so when he finds out that he is one, he's just he keeps on struggling against it. But other than that, he's so after him and Dojin get married, so apparently according to the timeline of the webtoon, they got together again, they dated for 6 months, and then they got married. But there is literally a side story where they act as if they just started dating. And there's a point where Hye-sung, what he always wanted was, when he thought he was an alpha, he thought he'd hook up with a rich Omega and be set for life. Like he'll be like a trophy husband. Which he kind of is. But he has this weird arc where he gets all blushy around Omegas and just, becomes very attracted to them. And I'm like, sir, you are married. What are you doing? It's weird. I don't know. It's like he is the only character in this story who never gets any development. Because even after he gets together with Dojin, he's annoying, he's whiny, and he bitches about everything. And like I can get why they had to make Dojin a doormat, because if he wasn't a doormat, I don't think anybody could stand this guy. I know you guys might think I'm being harsh, but I had to read through this whole thing for the stream, so I remembered everything I needed to talk about, and I did not enjoy that experience. Heesoo. Heesoo is the only character who has any kind of development, and development in a good manner. Not like Dojin, where he goes from headstrong to doormat. Heesoo goes from being just a side character who follows Dojin around everywhere to being his own person, making his own decisions, and defining his own life instead of following society's rules. Because remember, I told you alphas and omegas are supposed to be this amazing thing, and betas are like the losers. I don't know why though. I would think in a world like the Omegaverse, you would put betas on top, because they don't go into hut or rut periods, they don't get affected by pheromones, they can exist and do whatever the fuck they want. That's your top employee. Look at him, he's always at work. The alpha over there is losing control of his pheromones. Does the beta care? No, he's working. That's your top employee. Why are betas not at top? What's wrong with you? If the Omegaverse actually ever became a thing, touch wood, I'm just knocking against wood, because God, I would never want that to happen. I would think betas would be the ones at the top. Okay, so I don't think there's much I can say about Heesoo other than that he has the best development. Okay, let's see. Next one, Dojun. So when he starts off in the story, he actually looks very old. Literally, he looks quite old in the story as compared to the other characters. So you can see that maybe the author didn't have any plans of introducing him as another male lead, but then that changed, and he started looking younger. When it comes to personality, he's very gentle and very emotionless. Unless he's doing the deed, he doesn't have a lot of emotions on his face. That emotion you see on his face right now, I think that's the most he can emote. It's weird. It's like, sir, I can count the number of times he smiled on my hands, and it's just like one finger. He doesn't emote at all. So there's literally not. So since he never had much of a presence in the first part of the story, there's not much development wise, because like, we don't know him. Then you have Kyungso. I think this is the character I feel the worst for, because he got stuck with Chowon, and there's a reason for that. So like I said, when Kyungso started off, he was just the side character without a face. He appeared as a chibi most of the times. Then later he got a proper face, and suddenly he was in the story, like he meant something, which was kind of funny, because I was like, when he first got introduced in Chowon's side story, I was like, who the fuck is this? And then I saw him hanging out with Hyesung, and I'm like, wait, what? And I had to go back to the previous chapters, like the earlier ones, and I was like, oh, it's this guy. Okay then. And he's a pretty good guy. He's a nice friend. He's caring. He works hard. So I feel very bad for him, because he got stuck with Chowon, who's quite literally the worst. I don't know what they were thinking with Chowon's side story. Then this piece of trash. I don't like you. I don't think I'll ever like you. You'll have to go through much worse for me to actually believe you got a redemption arc. Finally. Yes, this is going to be a short review, because it's a BL story. There's not much I can say about it. I don't critique art styles, because I'm not an artist myself, and I don't think that's my place to do so. But yeah, Love is an Illusion is a very confusing story for me personally, because despite everything it tried to be, I don't think it could quite grasp what it was trying to do, because it was supposed to be this story about these two people who don't believe in love but eventually end up falling in love. But the two people in question never have any moments with each other that would make you believe that they care about one another. They're very... Hye-sung in general is very cold to Dojin. Even after they get together and even after they get married, they act like people who've never been on a date. So yeah, it just didn't work. And the same thing is true for, Kyungso and Chowon, because even with them, it doesn't work. Even with them, it's more like Chowon found another person to obsess over. And it's just sad. Hold on. So, yeah, that's Love's an Illusion. So usually I didn't think I would personally ever speak of BL over here, because I know that can be a strange topic for most people, because not everyone reads it. But because I was doing this... Wait, hold on. Oh my fucking god, are you serious? Oh my god, I'm just noticing now. Oh god, I'm such an idiot. I'm just noticing now I didn't have my music on. The desktop audio was off, and it was just playing in the background. Oh my god. Why am I like this? You know what, never mind, it's fine. Scuffed streams, I always mess something up. But yeah, so the thing about I think so originally I was never planning to do BL over here, because a lot of the tropes can be very iffy and make you go you sure about that, chief? But they happen nonetheless. But then in the end I was just why not? I mean, what's the harm? We're just talking about very mostly say-so stuff. Mostly. Because that definition of Omegaverse can never be say-so. That is a whole mess. And there are so many stories that fall under the Omegaverse. And some of them are so freaking wild. You just read them and you just think, what the hell is going on? But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed my very, very scuffed explanation of what the Omegaverse is and what Love is an Illusion is all about. I mean, I won't say that this is a BL I would go out of my way to recommend to others, like, you gotta read this, because it's not gonna really add anything to your life if you read it, and it won't really take away anything if you don't read it. It's very meh for me personally. If you want to try it, then go ahead. I won't stop you. You can give it a try and then we can discuss. We can talk about it in DMs and go like, did you get to that part? Yeah, that part. But yeah. I kind of enjoy these shorter streams, to be honest, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, long streams are not bad, but the short ones are also good. I like talking about I just like to sit down and just talk about stuff and introduce you guys to cursed things like rut and heat periods. Because here's the thing, if I have to suffer, you have to suffer beside me. That's just the way it is. But yes, that is it for today. I don't want to drag this on for too long because my mind has, after all that explanation, not gonna lie, I was gonna read this, but now I'm not so thirsty. Hey, I'm here to save you from these things. You want another stream about anything else you had, and anything else you want to read, just let me know. I've probably read it. I'll help you out. I'm here. I'm here to save you from disappointment. But like I said, I don't hate Love is an Illusion. I don't hate the author. It's just something that's not my cup of tea personally. But it might be different for others, I don't know. I know a lot of people enjoy it. But yes, that is it for today's stream. Thank you guys so much for coming and listening to me go on for an hour about something like a BL, no BL manhwa, but yeah. I shall see you guys next time, and next time I swear we will play Insanity. I know I've been saying I'm gonna play Insanity for a while now after that very, very horrible first time experience with it, but I'm gonna play Insanity. I'm gonna do it. I swear I'll do it. And this week I thought that this week on Friday we'll go back to horror stories. I don't know, I'm kind of like in the mood, so I think we can make it like a weekly or maybe like once in a while sort of a thing. I don't know, but I want to go back to horror stories, so Friday we're doing horror stories again, and for Insanity I will let you know. But yeah, that's it for today's stream. Thank you guys so much for coming. Bye bye.